So, Matt, we've heard from everyone else about their top podium or podium war movies. Why don't you give us your top three podium war movies?
Oh yeah. So my number three is Dunkirk by Christopher Nolan.
Okay,
So
that was all the rage when it came out.
yeah, have you guys seen it?
I have actually not seen that one.
All right. Well, there's the one that you need to see, Kevin. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's incredible. It's Christopher Nolan and a war movie. So definitely go see it. You've got Hans Zimmer with the score, so he's constantly progressing the movie forward. It kind of has an Oppenheimer feel with the sound. The sound's
Hmm.
incredible. The way it continuously builds tension throughout, and there's so many really intense scenes that it just keeps building, and it's so intense. But it's not long. It's really actually a short movie. So like the nice thing about this compared to Oppenheimer is that you're kind of exhausted by the time you're done with Oppenheimer. This
Yeah,
movie is like the opposite. You're like, oh man, I could go back and watch it again. It's like I don't know what the runtime is, but it's less than an hour or less than 2 hours. For a war movie,
For a
that's
war
pretty
movie,
short.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's not
yeah.
bad at
Yeah,
all.
yeah. And so I don't. So you guys haven't seen it, so I don't want to give too much away. But the
Well, I know the
storyline,
story.
yeah, the storyline's incredible. It's a Nolan film, so of course there's a non-linear narrative, and you got three stories going simultaneously, but one is on land and it's a week long. You've got a by sea story, which is 1 day long, and you have an air story, which is 1 hour long. And so he's showing these in parts and pieces on different timelines. So you're seeing it in real time, the same 10 minutes each area or location, but it's actually in their time, it's different. And so it takes a minute to wrap your head around it. But once you see them encounter other parts or other storylines that are running into each other, the payoff is incredible. But
That's
anyways,
cool.
there's three stories going on, and my favorite is the boat storyline. And basically, what happens is you've got a trio of civilians that respond to Churchill's call. Churchill's call. So in the movie, as Daniel kind of mentioned, Churchill basically says, "We need help to retrieve the soldiers from Dunkirk. They've been ambushed. We need help." And so he basically sends an SOS to all the boat people who can go by boat, by sea to pick these people up. And so you've got the three civilians. I think it's a dad, a son, and then a boat boy. And so they're on this trip and sea, and they pick up some people, some soldiers. And it's so well shot, and it's really compelling. You get some background story with the boy and his son, and so then to kind of end on that, the last thing I'll say is that I just think it captures the spirit of human resilience in the face of adversity really well. So when Churchill says like, "Hey, we need to go get these guys, bring them back home," when help us out, and people actually did. Like this was a real story, real life stuff, and people went and by boat went out and got their boat as a civilian and went and saved these people. So I just thought that the evacuation of Dunkirk was a collective choice of heroism, really, and it just kind
Yeah.
of conveys the determination that ordinary people can do some pretty crazy stuff. My number two is Braveheart, which nobody said.
I thought about Braveheart.
Nice.
I
If I
absolutely
didn't do if I
love
didn't do
Braveheart.
Return of the King, it was going to be Braveheart.
Nice. I absolutely love Braveheart. So I almost said Gladiator or The Last Samurai. Those are on my list, but I don't know if the war is the central theme of those movies. They're part of the movie, but I was trying to focus on movies that were mainly about war. So I settled on Braveheart.
Oh, you settled, shucks.
I know, right? Well, so I just like how it's about, one man's leadership, and you've got the rebelliousness going on into the first war of Scottish independence in the late 13th century. Um, Obviously, it has the accolades to back it up. It has Best Picture in 95. It has Best Director. You have Mel Gibson, who directed and acted in it, which is awesome that he won Best Director, and he's incredible in it. I mean, he's able to add emotional depth to a Scottish warrior. Like, remember the scene when he's fighting an opposing warrior, and he unmasks him and realizes it's Robert the Bruce. And he just goes down to his knees. And I just think his the way he's able to express emotional pain without any dialogue, that's probably the apex mountain of Mel Gibson.
Yeah, that's his best movie. I would say hands down.
I mean, from a dialogue, from an emotional standpoint, I mean, everything in it. He brings that story along, right?
Yeah, or Lethal Weapon 4.
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna say Lethal Weapon 4 because I fucking love that movie.
Chris Rock's in that too.
Yeah, is he? Yeah.
Yeah, he dates
the daughter,
Danny Glover's daughter.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I just really like in Braveheart the well choreographed battle sequences. I think the dialogue is probably the best in any war movie. I mean, you have the quips of Longshanks, like, the trouble with Scotland is that it's full of Scots.
The trouble with Scotland is that it's full of Scots.
It's one of those ones that are always in my head. Or, of course, you've got the rallying scenes with William Wallace. You've got the final scene where he's yelling, "Freedom!"
The prisoner wishes to say a word.
Try watching that and not get goosebumps.
I like to say that Hudson, the bad part about Hudson, that it's full of Scots.
They're going to be saying that pretty soon.
That one, that's
Knock that one out of the pocket, Governor.
Thank you, mate.
They're going to be saying that about us pretty soon here.
Number one.
And number one, I actually have to agree with two of our three episodes, and I also said Saving
Major Pain. Oh, sorry. Saving Private Ryan. Sorry. I thought it would be funny, but I just interrupted you.
It's pretty funny. I like Major Pain a lot. Maybe I should change it.
No. Why'd you choose Saving Private Ryan, though?
So, it won 5 Academy Awards, which is pretty crazy considering it actually didn't win Best Picture that year, which ended up going to Shakespeare in Love. 2 thumbs way down. Kevin, in his episode, kind of talked about it. The cast is incredible. You have Tom Hanks, Matt Damon, we didn't mention, Tom Sizemore, Ed Burns. We did say Giovanni Ribisi. Oh, Ted Danson is in it. Barry Pepper
really?
Is awesome. Yeah, Ted.
Nice.
I mean, the list really is.
Yeah.
I mean,
I haven't watched it in so long.
Yeah, we were kids, obviously. We were 10 when this came out. So the only thing better than a Hans Zimmer score is a John Williams score. So, this has the one up on Dunkirk with John Williams doing the score. The cinematography and shots are incredible. You have, of course, the iconic Omaha Beach scene, which we kind of talked about, and how it plays out so brutally. there's the theme of sacrifice and duty. The characters grapple with moral dilemmas and weigh their responsibilities, which is just realistic, right? Like the reality of humans participating in war and thinking like, should I go and help my brothers or should I just fucking run away? That moral dilemma is there. One of my favorites. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say one thing about the production of it, like the cinematography, is that they. So in movies, film, what you want to do is you want to capture like motion blur of like when people move. It's not like a really static shot. There's kind of like a blur to whatever's moving. And in Saving Private Ryan, especially the Omaha Beach scene, they sped up the shutter speed to where they didn't capture any motion. So like each frame just seems, it's like a still picture in time kind of. So like there's no motion in it, and it just makes you feel like, it makes it feel more visceral. I think it makes you kind of like, it pulls you in a little bit more, especially when you're dealing with something like that, like gruesome. Surviving the fucking beach.
One of my, I want to touch on one of my favorite scenes before I wrap it up. There's the scene where the sniper back and forth with Barry Pepper as Private Jackson, and you have the German sniper he's battling. I just love how Spielberg cuts back and forth between the German sniper and Jackson.
Let not my enemies triumph over me.
As they hunt each other through their scopes.
Oh, yeah.
And how awesome you see when the German spots Jackson just in time to see that muzzle flash. The bullet just goes right through his scope, right through his eye, right into the back of his skull. Just absolutely gruesome. But that whole, like, I mean, it reminded me, obviously, I've played Call of Duty after this, but it's kind of like a Call of Duty scene when you're trying to snipe somebody. And, you know, Spielberg was on this 10 years before any of that was a thought. So just love how many iconic scenes there are. I think it's the best of all time. And it's funny that, you know, 2 or 3 out of 4 of us also said that. And I just think it's a testament to how gritty and how big of a storytelling movie it is, and the storytelling of hope and just finding someone is an underdog story. So you have so many different things going on, and it just has more layers than a Braveheart or a Dunkirk where it only has one scene. This is just kind of bigger picture, which again, I can't believe it didn't win Best Picture, but I just think it's the best for those reasons.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I will admit, like, whenever you said war movies, I immediately thought of Saving Private Ryan. But, like...
that's the first one most people think of.
Yeah, exactly. Well, good job, man.
Donka.
Good job.